Hi, I'm Emily, and I'm the Castle Girl. Today, I'm at Brodick Castle. Brodick Castle is positioned high on a wooded shelf overlooking the Bay of Brodick on the Isle of Arran. Arran sits about 18 miles off the west coast of Ayrshire in Scotland in the Firth of Clyde. Brodick means Broad Bay in Gaelic, named by the early lords of the Isles who were of Scottish-Irish descent and the kings of Dalriata during the Dark Ages. The first fortress was built on the site around the 5th century as Arran held a strategic position in the middle of the Firth of Clyde, in between the Kintyre Peninsula and the Ayrshire coastline. Arran was part of the Kingdom of the Isles between the 9th to the 13th centuries. Other islands included the Isle of Man, the Hebrides and the islands in the Firth of Clyde off the west coast of Scotland. The Norsemen identified these islands as the Southerly Islands. During the mid-1200s, Arran and the other southern isles, or Sudreys, were ruled by two Norse Gaelic kings, Magnus of Man and Dougal of the Isles. They were sub-rulers under the King of Norway at the time, known as Hakon the Old. Also at this time, the Scots king Alexander III wanted to exert his control over the Isles to secure them as part of his kingdom. He gave his consent to William I, Earl of Ross, in 1262 to attack the Isle of Skye. This in turn enraged the Norwegian king, and along with Magnus and Dougal arrived in Lamlash on Arran with a large fleet ready to fight in the summer of 1263. The crafty King William delayed the battle until the autumn, when the weather worsened. Although the Scots were vastly outnumbered, the Norwegians' fleet ran aground on the shores of Largs on the Ayrshire coast. This is when most of the Scots army arrived, and after hours of fighting, the Norwegians were forced back to reboard their ships. The Norwegians' rule ended after the Battle of Largs, and after King Hakon died in Orkney during that winter. This led to the Treaty of Perth in 1266, giving the rights to the islands to Scotland. The first castle on the site was built in the late 1200s for the Stuarts of Monteith. The castle was protected by a steep slope on the sea-facing side and a water-filled ditch on its land-facing side. The castle had a tower to the east end with a wall enclosure to the west. This would have contained domestic buildings, kitchen, stables and a chapel. After Alexander III died with no surviving heir, this led to a period of instability in Scotland, and Edward I of England chose the next successor, John de Balliol, Tomb Tabard, in 1291. Balliol defied the English king in 1295, refusing to assist him in his war against France. This led eventually to the Scottish Wars of Independence against England. There was an English garrison stationed at Brodick during this time. Brodick Castle was held by the English until retaken by the Scots in 1307. In 1406, Brodick Castle was badly damaged by a fleet of ships sent by Henry IV. During this time, King Henry also captured James I of Scotland. More damage was caused in 1455 in an attack by John MacDonald II, Lord of the Isles. The castle changed ownership in the late 15th century to the first Lord of Hamilton, James. He was the son of James Hamilton of Cadsou. In 1503, his son, Lord Hamilton II, took possession of the castle. The castle was rebuilt by the Hamiltons, who were the Earls of Arran, in 1510, but suffered further damage in 1528 during clan battles between Campbells and Macleans, and again in 1544 at the hands of Henry VIII's forces during the period of the Rough ruling. The Hamiltons further rebuilt and expanded the castle during the 1550s, but struggled with the Campbells for control of the castle. In 1639, the castle was recaptured by the Campbells and then again by the Hamiltons and changed ownership multiple times until the 1650s. In 1652, the castle was captured by Oliver Cromwell's English parliamentary troops. A garrison of soldiers occupied the castle at this time. They built an artillery battery to defend the approach to the castle to the east of the main building. This was used as a barracks at this time, and you can still see this today. The castle was also extended by 2 bays to the west that almost doubled its size. This now houses a gallery for the works of the author and architect William Beckford of Fonthill. Restoration work in 1977 uncovered a hidden staircase leading to a room contained within the castle walls. This is now fitted out as a dungeon. You need to have a good imagination to visualise what the castle may have looked like during these turbulent and now ancient times, as there are little remnants left. Being as mysterious as castles can get, there are said that there are 3 ghosts that haunt Brodick Castle. One is of a lone figure of a man sitting deep in thought in the library. Outside, a white deer grazes whenever one of the clan chiefs of the Hamiltons is nearing death. There is a grey lady, a woman, who died of starvation or the Black Death in the castle dungeons. The castle was redesigned in 1844 in the Scots baronial style by the architect James Gillespie Graham. This doubled the size of the main block by extending it southwestwards. And then the further extension of the vast southwest tower, which is a prominent feature of the castle today. In 1895, the castle was passed to Lady Marie Louise Hamilton, who married the 6th Duke of Montrose in 1906. What you see today is the family home that they furnished and lived in. Mary, the Duchess of Montrose, gave permission to the National Trust for Scotland to take over the castle, all its contents and gardens, on the event of her death. She died in 1957 when the National Trust for Scotland took over the care and duty of Brodick Castle. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to visiting a castle near you. Bye!